Hey guys, I'm Drago, and welcome to part 2 of creating my Fakemon region, the Waru region based on Australia. Last time we took a look at the starters, creating the fire, water and grass starter. Let me know which one you would have picked. This time we're going to take a look at the early root Pokemon. There's usually 3 types of Pokemon that go into this category: a bird, a bug, and a rodent or mammal. So we're going to make all 3 today in this video. So let's get going and start off with the regional early root bug Pokemon. Our first Pokemon today is Pipant, the Pip Pokemon. Pipant is a very small bug Pokemon that has an incredibly frail body and legs, which means it struggles to hold up its very large head. This head is actually more like a seed, which will eventually burst forward with new flora, be it a new tree, new plants, whatever. As usual, I tried to mimic the Sugimori art style here, but also mixing it a little bit of my own style. So my line work is slightly thicker than usual, and I gave it a bit of a pencil texture, which mimics Sugimori's style. And any sort of patterns I also outline in a thinner line work, which again mimics that style. Just like what I did in the last video for the starters. Colouring is pretty straightforward as well, it's all just flat colour. The shading is where it really comes into its own. For shading I use cell shading at first, and then I use a low density eraser to erase the edges, which gives it this slight gradiented look, while also still looking quite clean, which is just like how Sugimori does it. And then the highlights are a little bit more complicated. I have a watercolour brush and I just sort of roughly put down the area of highlight, usually a sort of yellow tone on an overlay layer. And then I use the low density eraser to just erase around the edges roughly, very random strokes. And that just gives this idea of a highlight that's sort of sharp and clean, but also still quite textured and natural looking. It's really hard to explain, but it's how Sugimori does it. And doing this basically mimics that style quite well. Being an early root bug Pokemon means that Pipant evolves very quickly, only being at level 10, and it evolves into Twigug, the twig Pokemon. Twigug is based on a stick insect, get stick bugged, and its body mimics a twig. When they stand still on a tree, be it on the branch or on the trunk, you basically cannot see them at all. They are masters of disguise in that aspect. And it's a natural adaptation to help them hide from predators. Their main predator being Magruge, who you'll see later on. They're still fairly small and frail though, but it has a somewhat sassy personality. Also, I realised that the branches all kind of look like fries, you know, like chips. You don't like potatoes, and it's really funny, and I'm tempted to like give it a skin where I make it into like McDonald's fries or something. I think that'd be hilarious. But anyways, yeah, here's this little guy, Twigug. The final evolution of this line, happening at level 18, is Leafidae, the tough leaf Pokemon. Leafidae are of course based off a leaf insect, and despite looking frail, the leaves on their backs are actually incredibly strong, able to withstand a lot of blows and attacks. Therefore they almost always have their backs to everyone, just as that extra layer of protection, and they can also curl themselves up with their 2 leaf halves going over their body to basically look exactly like a flat leaf on a tree. The perfect camouflage. Now I had some trouble with this guy's design. I knew the general shape I wanted, but I wasn't so sure about the colours. Obviously I knew mostly green, but I felt like it was going to look too flat if it was all just green. So I wanted to give it some patterns, and I ended up with this sort of pattern around the edges of each leaf, which gave the leaves a bit more dimension and texture, and it also meant I could get more creative with the shiny being based on a autumn leaf, so it has oranges, reds and yellows in it, and with that extra pattern meant I could add more shades of that. But yeah, basically this whole evolution line is going from a seed, growing into a little twig or sapling with a few leaves on it, and then finally growing into the big plant, that being the proper leaves. And yeah, it just kind of shows that sort of lineage, while also being references to both stick bugs and leaf insects. Have you ever looked at my art and thought, wow, I wish I could have that on a marketable product? Guess what you can now buy? That's right, my online store is finally open. And here you can buy all sorts of products featuring art from yours truly. T-shirts, mugs, prints, you name it. There are even digital products available such as colouring pages, which you can purchase, download, print out, and colour however you want. And there are always new products being added as well. There is even a whole section for commissions, so if you're interested in getting custom artwork from me, be it for personal or commercial use, then you can also head to my website to order a commission. I put so much work into getting this store open and I'm so happy to see it finally live. So if you'd like to support me, then maybe go check it out. For a limited time, I am offering a discount code that will give you 20% off of your first purchase. But this is limited. You have until May 31st this year to use it and get 20% off. So if you're interested, head on over to dragondigitalstudiosshop.com and have a look around and maybe buy something while you're there. I would really appreciate it if you did. So thank you so much for listening to this little advert. Go check out the store if you're interested and you want to support me. And yeah, thank you so much. When it came to the early root mammal/rodent, I knew there was one animal I had to use. They are very famous, they're native to Australia. It's the little critter that is always smiling, the quokka. And I've taken the quokka and adapted it into a Pokemon line. Though the quokka is actually technically a marsupial, so I guess this is early root marsupial. But marsupials also technically count as mammals, so whatever. Anyways, the first stage is Jovey, the jovial Pokemon. Its name is a mix of both Joey, which is the name of a baby quokka, but also adding the V in there to allude to the whole jovial and happy aspect of its design. These guys are always smiling constantly, they feel no emotion other than happiness. Tourists from all other regions will flock to the Waru region just to take a look at these guys and say hello to them. But this friendliness means they can be a little bit naive, and they very much get themselves into danger very easily. Which means unfortunately you can find quite a few that have not quite made it. And this will tie into its next evolution. It's shiny, which is quite pale, also ties into the next evolution. But basically for this guy, I just wanted to go really cute. Big fluffy cheeks, big nose, big eyes, cute little round ears, cute little arms, a little tail, nice big smile, you know, just making it very cute looking. When leveled up at a minimum of level 20 plus and below 10 HP, Jovey would evolve into Smilokka, the Guardian Pokemon. Now having gained the Ghost type, Smilokka is the spirits of Jovey who unfortunately wandered into danger and did not make it out alive. These spirits now act as guardians that will protect other Jovey. They are stuck with the eternal smile, but it really is a false facade because if they see you harming a Jovey or they think you're putting a Jovey in danger, they will viciously attack. To lean into it being a ghost type, I gave it much paler colours. Obviously it has the creepy smile, a lot of ghost types have this sort of creepy vibe to them. And I didn't initially add this, I added it later on after I finished recording. But I added a wispy trail on the end of the tail to show that it's more of a spirit rather than a solid form. Also, the Jovey it protects, it will hide in its pouch. Because these guys are marsupials, they have a pouch, so you can often find a lot of Jovey hiding in these guys' pouches. And they will viciously attack and defend if you come near them while they are hiding some Jovey. They're also pretty big, you know, maybe like beware size of Pokemon. So you really do not want to cross these guys at all. The smile is very much a false sense of security with these guys, do not trust them. We are now onto the one that I was the most excited to do, that being the regional / early route bird. There's a lot of birds I could have chosen from Australia, but I decided to go for one of the very common ones that can also cause a lot of trouble, that being the Australian magpie. You know, the ones that like to chase people on their bikes for absolutely no reason? Yeah, those guys. And it always confused me because we have magpies here in the UK and Europe, but they're smaller and they're very docile. Like if anything, they're actually more scared of you. They'll just fly off. So when I heard about Australian magpies being really aggressive, it confused me for a moment. But anyways, the first evolution is Anpie, the angry bird Pokemon. Its name kind of deliberately meant to sound like it's Angie, you know, he's angry, he's Angie. A very small bird Pokemon, but they are just full of anger, and they will run up to anyone just to peck at their toes for no reason. Any trainers that have caught an Anpie are advised to wear very sturdy shoes to avoid their toes being bitten off. They have a constant scowl on their face, and very piercing red eyes. Really, they're just little guys filled with absolute rage all the time. And of course, for the first stage, I went nice and simple with the shapes. Not too detailed on the feathers or anything, just a very simple design to start it off with. At level 18, Anpie will evolve into Magruge, the swooping Pokemon. If you remember, I mentioned them before. They are the natural predators of Twigug, but that's not all these guys go for. Magruge can hold a grudge for life. They will even pass it down to their children between generations. But the problem is, it's very easy for them to get a grudge. They will just seemingly hate you for no reason. Even if you just look in their direction, they might get mad at you. So when they see someone they don't like, which is pretty much everyone, they will repeatedly swoop down and attack with talons and beak. Just over and over, swooping at your head, attacking you every single time. You could try run away, but they'll fly after you. They're an absolute pain, and quite frankly, just a nuisance in the region. For this design, I wanted to add a little bit more colour, and I was thinking about the next evolution here and how to tie it together. So I added blue around the sort of brow and eye, and a bit of a red accent on the tail feathers, and you'll see how this comes into play in the next evolution. But it's just a nice way to tie it together between the first evolution and the final evolution. our final Pokemon for today, when Magruge reaches level 36, it will evolve into Magrath, the Wrath Pokemon. Magrath now gains the fighting type alongside flying, and these guys are a huge threat in the region. They physically cannot feel any emotion other than anger. They will fight anything and everything they come across. Not just using their sharp beak and large talons, but also being able to curl their tail feathers into a fist. And these tail feathers are very strong and rigid, and they can deal powerful blows. As I said in a previous evolution, I added some more colours. You can see how they tie in here. So the blue is now a band of sorts going around the head tied on, and the red now accents the feathers nicely, giving it a bit more of an interesting look compared to just the more black and white look of the previous evolutions. Because I was initially going to keep the bottom layer of feathers black, like the previous evolution, but I feel like it looked a bit too flat for this design in particular. It worked on the previous one, but not so much on this one. So I added in the red, and I really liked how that looked. Its stance also just shows it being ready to attack no matter what. It's never relaxed, it's always aggro. And there we have our three main early roots Pokemon for the Waru region. Pipant, Twigug and Leafidae, Jovey and Smilokka, and Anpie, Magruge and Magrath. Let me know out of these three evolution lines, who's your favourite? Who would you happily go and catch if you were to play this game? If you want to follow me making this region and follow the progress of it, then I am posting them on the Fakemon subreddit, as well as they will all get posted on my DaVinci as well, so you can follow them there. And of course, whenever I make some, I will make it a new part in this video series too. So really, you could just stay here and follow it, or go to DaVinci or Reddit, or do whatever you want, I don't mind. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, maybe leave a like and subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. A huge shout out to my channel members. I really appreciate you guys, thank you so much for supporting me. It means so much. And if you would like some exclusive perks, such as exclusive content in the form of member-only videos, getting videos early, custom emojis and soon to come custom badges, and perhaps even member-only discounts for my online store, then consider joining the channel down below. I'd really appreciate it if you did. But yeah, once again, thank you for watching, and I hope to see all you wonderful people in the next video. Bye!